The morning light spilled gently through the thin curtains, painting soft gold on the wooden floor. The air was still, almost too still. I sat at the small kitchen table, holding a warm cup of tea between my palms, feeling the gentle heat seep into my skin. Outside, the street was waking up, the distant sound of cars passing, a child laughing, someone calling out to a neighbor. Yet inside my home, it felt as if time had slowed, and I could hear my own breathing. For weeks, life had been a storm. Work deadlines had piled up like heavy clouds. Family tensions had filled the air with unspoken words. My phone never stopped buzzing. Emails, messages, reminders, each one demanding a piece of my attention. And in the middle of it all, I had lost something important. I had lost my quiet. It had started subtly. A few nights of poor sleep. A mind that wandered in circles even when the body was still. I told myself I was just busy, that things would calm down soon. But they didn't. I began snapping at small things. A cup left unwashed, a question repeated twice, a delay in traffic. I watched myself becoming someone I didn't like. Someone restless. Someone reactive. That morning, I woke up with the same tightness in my chest I had felt for days. The to-do list in my mind was already shouting at me. But something inside whispered, not today. I reached for my phone, ready to dive into the usual rush, but stopped. My thumb hovered over the screen, and then, I turned it off. The sudden silence felt strange. I realized I couldn't remember the last time I had started a morning without a glowing screen in my hand. My heart slowed just a little. I took a deep breath. Instead of rushing, I stayed at the table. I sipped my tea slowly, watching the steam curl into the air like a fragile thread that could disappear at any moment. I listened, not to music, not to the news, but to the soft hum of the refrigerator, the gentle creak of the walls. The decision came quietly, without fanfare. I would spend the day differently. I wouldn't chase after every problem. I wouldn't open every message. I wouldn't let the noise of the world decide how I felt. Today, I would choose peace over chaos. The first hours felt almost unnatural. My mind kept trying to return to the usual rhythm. Check this, plan that, worry about tomorrow. But I resisted. Instead, I took a slow walk around the neighborhood. The air outside was cool and carried the faint scent of rain. I noticed how the sunlight danced through the leaves, making shifting patterns on the ground. I heard birds calling from somewhere unseen, each note soft yet confident. I passed familiar houses I had walked by hundreds of times, but they looked different, not because they had changed, but because I had finally slowed enough to see them. The cracks in the paint. The flowers blooming despite the summer heat. The way an old rocking chair moved slightly in the breeze. Around noon, I sat on a bench in the park. Usually, this place was just a shortcut to somewhere else, but today I stayed. I watched an elderly man feed crumbs to pigeons, smiling as they gathered around him. I watched a little girl chase bubbles, laughing each time they popped in her hands. No one seemed to be in a hurry here. No one was scrolling, rushing, complaining. The park had its own pace, gentle, unbothered. And I realized, the world would keep spinning whether I ran with it or not. In the afternoon, I returned home and opened a book I had been meaning to read for months. The words didn't fight for my attention the way my phone did. They simply waited, patient and still, until I was ready to meet them. I read slowly, pausing often, not because the story was difficult, but because I wanted to let the sentences breathe. I noticed how my mind stopped racing, how the weight on my chest felt lighter. It was then that the gentle twist of the day revealed itself to me. Peace had not been hiding somewhere far away. It had been here all along, waiting for me to make space for it. I had always thought I needed the chaos to feel alive, the busy days, the constant messages, the rush to get ahead. But now, sitting in my quiet living room, I felt more alive than I had in weeks. Not because everything was perfect. Not because all my problems had disappeared. But because, for the first time in a long time, I was present. The evening sun began to fade, painting the walls with a warm orange glow. I made a simple dinner. Nothing fancy, just warm soup and bread. I ate slowly, tasting every bite. Later, I stood by the window, watching the streetlights flicker on one by one. The day had been ordinary in every way, and yet, it had changed something deep inside me. I knew tomorrow would bring new challenges. The emails would still be there. The deadlines would still loom. Life would not stop being messy just because I wanted it to. But now I understood something important. Peace is not the absence of noise. It is the choice to not let the noise control you. As night settled in, I lay in bed without reaching for my phone. The silence was no longer strange. It was comforting, like a soft blanket wrapped around my mind. I thought about the day, the tea, the walk, the park, the book, the quiet moments in between. None of it had been grand. None of it had been remarkable by the world's standards. But to me, it had been everything. And so, with my eyes closing, I whispered a small promise to myself. When the world shouts, I will listen for the quiet. When life rushes, I will slow my steps. When chaos calls, I will remember. I have the choice to breathe, the choice to pause, the choice to choose peace. That was the day I realized something that would stay with me forever. Peace is not found, it is chosen, and once you choose it, you see it everywhere. In the morning light, in the sound of the wind, and even in the stillness of your own heart.